A team of Nigerian students have deployed innovative solutions to address environmental degradation within the country, and through waste collection and recycling initiative, they convert discarded materials into cooking fuel briquettes using proprietary processes. Now, these briquettes are then sold commercially to local communities, providing a sustainable energy alternative. Details in this report.
We were inspired by the reality around us. We want to meet a need.
Zeladel Gabriel, a 12-year-old student at Corridor Junior Secondary School in Nigeria's capital city of Abuja, is a member of an innovative team tackling waste management through technology known as the SAGE team. These young people between the ages of 10 and 19 are utilizing internet access to design smart solutions for waste recycling. The latest inventions include a smart bin and briquettes, an environmentally friendly cooking fuel. The smart bin collects paper waste, shreds it, and recycles the material into raw inputs for the briquettes.
Well, it makes me excited, happy to see young ones such as myself to be very motivated and do innovative things.
I use these briquettes, this money that we get from the briquettes, to at least start up something because I'm interested in technology. So at least I can use that money to get a robotics kit.
Schools, particularly in low-income nations, face challenges managing paper waste. However, the high school juniors' invention not only solves environmental issues, but also positions their school to realize economic benefits as the briquettes generate nearly 95% profits. There is also strong interest in their smart bins.
Schools are interested. The chairman of the FCT Universal Basic Education Board is already discussing so that they acquire some of these bins for schools across, public schools across the FCT, because it is something that is worth it, especially in terms of managing waste paper. So the market is huge. Actually, the invention is demand driven.
For decades, Nigeria's education system has been underfunded, leaving many students, especially in public schools, with limited access to technology and hands-on learning opportunities. James Rotimi notes that entrepreneurship can be a game changer for addressing school funding problems.
Entrepreneurship is a key driver in learning if we must go forward as a people. So it is very key that governments across the states and local government should be intentional about promoting entrepreneurship education amongst students.
One constraint the young innovators must address is securing adequate funding. Currently, their projects rely on local funding from the school community, with approximately 90% of raw materials for the smart bins having to be imported from Asia. The team believes partnerships could help scale production to meet demand.
Away from Nigeria, in South Africa, the Johannesburg Metro Police Department has rescued 27 illegal immigrants. According to the police, 30 illegal male immigrants were trafficked into the country and were being kept at a secret house in Edenvale. Upon arrival at the house, the police said they started interviewing them. However, they started running out of the room in which they were kept, but officers managed to contain 27 victims who were later handed over to immigration officials. They are set to be deported back to Ethiopia soon. And now to talk about these, I'm being joined by a travel and tourism entrepreneur from Lagos, Nigeria, and that's Sam Adeleke. Good afternoon, Sam Adeleke.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. Now, Sam, what are your impressions, on people who seek all means possible to migrate as illegal immigrants into other countries?
I think it's a very serious pandemic, so to speak, because we are in an era of economic desperation. That is, people are desperate to get to live a better life. And in this case, it's an Ethiopian story, because ordinarily it was a Nigerian story in which 27 or 30 Nigerians were found in that house of Jobok. The entire world would be like, yeah, Nigerians again. But in this case, they are Ethiopians, right? And if we take a deep look at the Ethiopian economic situation, There's a lot of conflicts going on right now, and people are simply looking for the opportunity to get to live a better life. Now, there's some research that was done, and we discovered that there's a lot of community attitudes, the status symbol when you are able to have your child abroad. That is why lots of them are going through extreme measures, extreme means to find themselves out of Ethiopia in South Africa. And some of them also, because they are majorly low-income earners, they do not want to do those meager jobs at home, and they believe that when they move to a place like South Africa, they will get a better life. So it's that promise of economic prosperity by people who take advantage of them. That is why these things do happen. And it's really sad because Ethiopia itself is a signatory to United Nations Office on human trafficking, the Blue Earth campaign, whereby they signed that they will put every measure in place to prevent that. Even the government of South Africa. And if you look at that story deeply, the government and the police, they are still stunned that how could this number of people pass through our borders to get into Joburg, into that safe house without detection.
Okay,
so
Mr. Adeleke, let me just cut in right there because I still have a couple of questions for you. Let's talk about the impact of illegal migrants on a country's economy.
It's very deep, and ordinarily, immigrants should be able to support, in building a country because they're majorly people without documentation and they're low skilled individuals, so they get to do the farm work, the domestic work, and all of that. Because in America, like they say, immigrants build America. You get, but in a place like South Africa, it's a major issue. The xenophobic. Even now, what is done is very, very tough. The xenophobic attacks on immigrants because they believe, South Africans believe, many South Africans, not all, believe that people that are immigrating are coming to take their jobs. And we have had reports, documentaries on how they attack Nigerians, attack Zimbabweans, attack Ethiopians, and anyone who they believe is coming to compete with their resources. So ordinarily, it should be a good thing when people migrate legally because it is human capital migration. People are contributing their mental skill, even their physical skill. But South Africa is a very dicey situation because they blame the government's inability to improve the economy on people who are simply moving in, to get a better life. And people that are coming in are desperate, they're ready to work,
Okay.
So it's a double-edged sword.
All right, Sam, let's talk about measures. For instance, you are a travel and tourism entrepreneur. What measures would you recommend be in place to tighten loopholes that allows for free access of illegal migrants?
Quite a number of things. First is prosecution, because if you do not punish those that facilitate this trade across board, there will be no deterrence. Because it is someone that pays the police, the immigration officials at the border, and even those who are housing these immigrants. It's about law enforcement here. So if we're able to set examples, shame them, name and shame, because this is not just done by people who do not have means. These are cross-border cartels that handle all of this. So one, prosecutes them. And number two, people should also be educated on the dangers of this, that it is better to migrate legally. And we provide these services. So some of us in the tourism industry, being able to migrate through skilled workers visa, using your certificates, using your skill set. So you don't need to go through the back or go through illegal means. And number three, also train locals to identify victims of trafficking. And how do you identify this? These are people that when you're talking to them, they can't look at you straight in the eye. They have low self-esteem because they have been talked down on, they have been abused by their captors. And sometimes you can spot physical abuse, physical injuries on them. And some of these people also do not have documentation, right? And they are so beat down and so and they are so at their lowest.
To end the conversation here, Sam Adeleke, thank you so much for your perspective on this, of course. Sam Adeleke, travel and tourism entrepreneur. Thank you for your expertise.
Thank you for having me.